Hey everyone, guess what? I got Reaper to 90. I mean 80. We're trying this again. Had to spend I just spent 5 minutes trying to find out where the quest line is actually of this. But it's saying it's it's not there. Hang on. It's not how you unlock it. It's yeah, the hunt. Where is Luminous headquarters? That's a bomb. Now it'd be over here. I really don't know where. I don't know where this is. This. Oh. I. Yeah. Well, if it doesn't run with your heading, yep, okay. It's so weird. Weird. The harvest begins. How did you find the weight of the scythe in your hands? Pleasing, I hope. Now that we have a bit more in common, it's time we become better acquainted. What's the name of our newest Reaper? I didn't even give you my name? Ronald. Doesn't quite roll off the tongue. But so it is with Eorzean names. Well, my name is from Eorzea anyway. With every new one I learn, one more is forgotten. Yours can replace Giglio. After a little conversation, I think he'll give us a wide array. Any road. We've more worthwhile concerns than shifty merchants, namely getting you conversed well and proper in the tricks of our trade. And the best way to do that is through battle. One of the family is having trouble with a particularly vixen fiend, and has sent word asking for assistance. Goes by the name of Arcanus, and he's stationed out near Cutter's Crime. Not much of a fighter, but he's got a keen mind for trade and can find a needle and a stack of needles if need be. Okay, that's not how that works, but we best hurry before he ends up at the bottom of some monster's gullet. You're bad at this, aren't you, sir? Person. I don't even remember. Yeah, but yeah, being at 80. It didn't even take that long to get to 82 either. I was at 76 and it's just like, instantly just pushed me into. Boss, who's this? Are you sure we should be getting an outsider involved? Thank you for your discretion, Arcanus, but it ain't needed. He has a personal contract with me, so consider him a mercenary in service to the family. Whatever you say in front of me, you can say in front of him. By your will, boss. A chimera has been making these sands a living hell for anyone who dares to wander into its territory. Which be us, since our trade routes cut right through it. The men I've hired to carry my goods are scared to death, and I can't blame them. None of us are fit for monster hunting, so I sent for you. We'll see what we can do, Argonith. Might want to find a rock to hide behind, though. Chimeras aren't known for being the most discriminating of beasts. Wait, isn't this... Yeah, this is Cutter's Cry. This is Cutter's Cry. This is the dungeon itself. Time to put your new skills to good use, Ronald. You've learned all actions. 270. Detailed description for the... Ready, are we? Yup. As I'll ever be. Let's get on with the hunt, eh? We'll need to draw out the chimera. Chimera meat. Now to accustom the Reaper's souls. Harvest the souls of the fallen to call forth your avatar. Summon their avatar by filling their soul gauge. The soul gauge will fill when performing combos. The best Reapers fight in tandem with their avatars. Let's see how you do. So what you're saying is I have an avatar. There we go. You're taking this quickly. Let's move. And now I'm going to be able to receive. Ah. Now, our target arrives. Finish this and I'll let you keep its head as a trophy. As long as your avatar is by your side, monsters like this are nothing more than easy prey. Show me you've been listening, Ronald. Give your avatar a feast to remember. Remember to position yourself, give it to the sides. Gallows from the rear. See, that's new information. I didn't know that you used them on the front of the rear. Bloody impressive work, that. I knew there was something about you, but truth be told, I didn't expect you to make such clean work of that chimera. I reckon even I might be hard-pressed to match that. It's just like, you know, talent when you see it, boss. And with that, the solarium will flow once more. Among his many roles, Artemis is a merchant of sorts. He sells solarium at a price that makes those gill pitchers at a balk. Still turn a pretty profit. We can barely keep up with demand despite the occasional beast or two butting into our affairs. All thanks to you, boss, and our countrymen up north, of course. Here's to getting back to business as usual. Solarium ain't easy to come by, as you well know. Amajana and Sons protect their monopoly with a gilded fist, but they've yet to force the Imperial stragglers up north out of the market. Now, before you go running off to the flames, let me assure you that this arrangement is entirely above board. Selling goods to Imperials is forbidden by law, but there is nearly a word written about buying from them. Ah, so you can't sell to Imperials, but you can buy it from them. I know you Eorzeans like to call Garleans by all sorts of colorful names. Bastards, tyrants, invaders, we've got all those and worse. While many a foul deed has been committed for the glory of the Empire, we aren't megalomaniacs to a man. Even amongst the purebloods, those that serve don't always do so by choice. Could be argued we're all casualties of the great Machina's ambition. No small number of the Empire's troops would return home in a heartbeat if they could. But the world being what it is, most settle for sending their family what few coin they can afford to part with. Of course, most Eorzeans would suffer a whiff of color to complicate their black and white view. But if you're going to fight with us, you should learn the truth of our past. Long ago, long before the Empire, our forebears lived in Locus Amoris, down in southern Isambard. With temperate climes and fertile earth, the land provided. Many of us were but simple farmers, harvesting abundant crops with the self-same scythes the reapers would eventually wield. But gifts are ever the object of envy. When not tilling the fields, our ancestors were forced to defend them. Every year they yielded a few more elms, and some 800 years ago now, they were driven from Locodominos completely. They fled north to the frozen region which would become Garlemald. Even there, they fought tooth and nail for the scant resources of that frigid land. When the fires of hardship were the first magic tech devices forged, and with innovation upon innovation, that humble group of farmers grew into an insatiable empire. But before that miraculous twist of fate, we were a dying breed, bereft not only of magic, but of hope itself. With no natural advantages to speak of, our mere survival was in question. From harsh necessity were the reapers born. We turned our tools to weapons and struck a bargain with the whispers in the dark. With the Void's power, we could strike at an army's beating heart, slay their generals, and throw the rank and file into disarray. Our way is to end battles before the sparks catch, to sacrifice the one for the many, to avoid avarice hands away from families. Oh, to keep avarice hands away from family, friends, and lovers. And now this power belongs to you. Remember our story. Remember what drives a man to turn to the void, and you'll not be led into deeper temptations. Our work here is done. I'll see you back at headquarters. Thanks. For your first outing, you did good. I think you've earned the right to know just who this lot you've thrown yourself in with is. You might have gathered this yourself, but the Liminars were formed to support those Garleans who are living in exile. It ain't easy to be far from home, let alone in a place where most would sooner gut you than offer a helping hand. The only place to make a living is in the shadowy corners that lie outside the watchful gaze of the law. Now, I don't expect you to brace us like brothers and sisters straight away, but know this, I do expect you to apply yourself to this job. In the meantime, I'll be working with the family to ascertain the whereabouts of our prey. I expect that sight to be like an extension of your body when next we speak. By the way, we don't get anything from this quest line until it's the level 80 quest, from what I've read. Well, I've only glanced at it, I haven't read anything. Reading causes spoilers. There you are. Looking deadly enough with that scythe to make me weak at the knees. I wager it's time we stop faffing about and made ready to hunt our target. My Liminars have been hard at work scrapping together what information they can. Let's see what they got. Okay. What do you got? Sounds like you got enough. Everyone here? Good. Agnes, you met. No further Chimera related incidences you'll be happy to hear. The overly chipper Les over there is Herman. Make your acquaintance. What is this? As you know, our quarry is a void set, and he goes by the name of Orcus. He's eluded the best, but these two are a step above that. Tell us what you found. We're looking for. By your will, boss. I asked around about unsolved murders and disappearances, seeing if any involved someone matched the description you provided. There are many missing people, as there are grains of sand, and no shortage of tragedies either. One have stood out among the rest. A woodcutter in the black shroud disappeared without a trace. No body, no belongings, nothing. An odd enough occurrence by itself. But the sightings of a stranger with skin pale as snow near his last known whereabouts piqued our interest. Now that's a promising start. But those words are crawling with bandits and brigands of all sorts. Dust rights keepers are said to come in ghostly hues. Are we sure this man ain't one of them? As such as I've ever been, boss. Not many bandits have the eyes the color of blood. It's a match too close to ignore. I can't gainsay that. We have a lead. If I may, boss, are you sure we need the help of this outsider? Whose trouble could one Soitsen be? Herman, he's standing right there, for God's sakes. No, she's right. I've always told you to turn a wary eye to those outside the family. She's just doing her due diligence. But trust me when I say we need every advantage we can afford. I made the mistake of misjudging Orchid's strength before, and for my hubris, my family, my flesh and blood family, was slain, all of them. Was planning on holding that back a bit longer, but it was before the Lumaries. I think it's Lemuries. I swore two things. I'd repay that suffering 1,000-fold, and I'd never let that bastard take anything from me again. I mean to keep my vow, and I trust I can count on you to help. You don't have to ask twice, boss. Your wounds are our wounds, even the ones that become scars. We'll see your vengeance wrought. All these years I've scraped to make a place for us. I look forward to the day he pays his dues. And it ain't just for me that we hunt him down either. He's a blight on Erosia itself, and the longer we let it fester, the more suffering it spreads. We need to corner him now. And we have the chance. Are you ready, Ronald? You know those woods as well as any of us, and we'll need your experience if we hope to be back before supper. Much appreciated. All right, let's get to it then. Herman, I want you here in Udag, keeping your ear to the ground for any news of Orcus movements. Arguments. You lead us to where this woodcutter disappeared. By your will, boss. That would be the central shroud. So our best course would be to set off from Bent Branch Meadows. Well, we're going to Gridania. Or at least in the area. But now we know. Her whole entire family was killed by the Reaper. I mean by a void scent. Good, you made it. Before we set off, allow me to share the circumstances of our poor woodcutter's disappearance. As I heard it, he disappeared nigh on a week ago. Got lost, some surmise, but he was a seasoned woodsman, not some highborn traveler who forgot to buy a map. I questioned those closest to him, and none could think of a reason he might want to make himself scarce. He's even made plans to meet with friends not long from now, but I expect that promise will go unkept. It sounds like we could rule out a voluntary departure. I believe we can. The last person to see the man alive said he took his axe and ventured northwest. And that's where we'll set our trap. Here, Ronald, take these. A magic transceiver and candle that's scented like a void sense favorite. The libation, blood. Candle a candle that gives off the scent of blood? Once it's lit and the fumes are wafted through the air, every void sent within 30 yalms will come running. If either of us sees Oculus, let's give the other a shout over to Antiva. As I said before, Arcus is inhabiting the body of a man, and he could put on an awfully convincing performance when needs be. Don't give him a chance to work his will out, or his fangs will be in your neck before you know it. As much as I want to accompany you, I don't need to be a liability in a fight. Whether you find Arcus or not, return here and I'll report back to the Lemurs. Good luck and good hunting. You can't land here. No. But you can down here. A void scent rises from under the bush, though it bears them with a vicious hunger. Whoa, where? Ah! Ah! Kind of odd that they only let you pick one spot. It's like, was I supposed to try and find the right one? I'm glad to see you in one piece. Now, what's that you have in your hand? Oh, you were supposed to pick the one that had that item. That's even greater. You said the voice set was carrying this? Ring, where'd you find it? I see, then there can be no doubt. The voice sent that Ronald slew is the very same one that murdered our woodcutter. Murdered, are you saying? While I was searching for a place to set up my trap, I spotted a shallow grave, hastily dug and poorly hidden. Under a thin layer of dirt was a body matching the description of the woodcutter. A wholly nondescript fellow, save for the mark of a ring removed from his finger. Doubtless that ring was his demise. Shiny baubles are a common fixation for void scent. Probably didn't spare a thought for the owner. Only the prize. I suppose we can take comfort in the knowledge that it'll harm no one else. Okay, so I'd say this expedition was a success after a fashion. I should prize the whalers of what transpired. You two catch some water and rest. Thank you kindly, sir. Hardness. This is crazy. We've never really had to deal with the void set much. Like only during Crystal Tower. Well. And where's another one? What's the other thing? Well then, I'll see you back at headquarters. Even the things we fought and Amaranth, I thought that was the void set, but apparently no, that was the abominations and stuff that was made by Metron when she warped everybody's ether. It's crazy. Hopefully this is real. I hope that this is enough to tell us the story about, like, something about void sense. At least I'm learning about the Garlands. That they were, a lot of them were farmers and then left. They had to leave from their farms and stuff to go to, all the way to where Garlemald is now. And there they came in contact with Reaper, with Voidsent that made them Reapers. Maybe we didn't get the satisfaction I promised, but sitting here with our heads in our hands won't do us any good. Let's be happy with one less Voidsent preying on helpless woodcutters. Glad to see a passion for our mission. Apologies we couldn't make your first outing more memorable. We were on the cusp of ending 2 decades of misery. That's how long ago Orcus came into this world, raging like an animal, free from his cage, and leaving my family dead in his wake. The grief he's caused since then is immeasurable. No matter where his accursed feet take him, his hunger follows and the realm bleeds to save it. Of course, we aren't the only ones hunting for him, but he's as clever as he is vicious, and not even the finest trackers have been able to keep on his trail for long. Don't lose heart yet, boss. While you were away, I was making the rounds and I might have found something that would soon bear through. Argus is following up on it as we speak. I swear. Someday that man is gonna kill over on my account. Still, there's no one else I trust to tell me this between truth and hysteria. He said, his work takes time to do, right? Use this chance to hone your skills, and if all goes to plan, next time we will speak, well, you'll have a golden opportunity to test them. What about that? Dark days. Apologies, Ronald, but we're still waiting on Argus to come through. There's not much for you to do around here until then, unless you have a knack for cleaning. Herman is good at wielding our promised stories and whatnot, but getting to see the truth of those stories is a craft as delicate as weaving. I'm sure you've seen firsthand how one bad bit of information can lead to elaborate plans coming apart into seams. Boss. Calm down, lad. Breathe. What's gotten you? It's Ugar. He's been murdered. What? Tell me. I just heard. I'm afraid not. The blast breeds found him half buried in the sands not bells ago. Just lying there like some bloody animal cockers. They're bringing him to Angler's burial chamber as we speak. Whoever did this doesn't know the reckoning they got coming. Before I'm done with them, they'll be begging to crawl back into their mother's rooms. I want justice for such as you do, Herman. I do, but it's times like these we need to look to the boss for guidance. As you can see, Ronald, emotions are running high. I should stay here until Herman cools off. Can you let the boss know that we're standing by and waiting for her command? Like as not, she's gone to pay her respects. Okay, so that didn't take long. I had a feeling that guy got. I had a feeling that he was gonna die, considering what she said. She jinxed it. She jinxed it. That's what happened. You really want to know? She jinxed it when she said he was. One day he was just gonna keel over. It's like, yeah. You jinxed it. Sorry, Ronald. I ain't in the mood for chit chat. Where's the bloody keeper? Something's not right. My lady, the dead must be let to rest. The dead are gonna have to have one more among them. If you don't shut your trap and listen, the bastard was brought in a body not long ago. Show it to me. Yes, that they did, but are you the deceased's family? If not, I'm afraid we cannot. Family? It was like a son to me. Like a son. Ordinarily, that would be. He was interred in the innermost coffin. However, I must advise you not to gaze upon the body. Madam, she insists. So then, so be it. Told you not to go and get yourself. Don't, Ronald. This isn't for you. I'm sorry for barging in here for all the bluster. If you can forgive my rudeness, promise me that Argus gets sent off well and properly. Of course he shall be. However, if you wish to inter him within the city gates, well, such sought-after space comes at no small expense. I don't care what it costs. Just send your man. Just send your man to Nemeris headquarters to collect what you require. I don't know, I'd appreciate you coming to find me, but there's someone else I have to speak with first. I'm heading to Stoneflow. Come along if you please, but come along in silence. Wait, what? Which is where Anna's dear wife earns her living. Best get us over with. Never forgot the debt he owed you. The debt we both owed you. Even so, he ran even deeper than that. It's a strange thing to look back at the people we were. A decade younger and a lifetime more foolish. Young lovers, proud patriots, wistfully ignorant, returning to luckless or is the cradle of our people. A triumphant homecoming for the Guardians after centuries of exile. In exile, the once mighty invaders have been laid low, driven back whence they came, and it was a banner day when honored with a post there. The honor and pride quickly faded when we saw the truth of Lucas Amanonis, and we hadn't just defeated our enemies, we had clapped them in irons and condemned them to a life of servitude. Descendants of those who driven our ancestors north so many generations ago, made to pay for the crimes of their forebears. His superiors were certainly pleased with the poetry of it all. They, however, could not simply look away from their suffering, let alone take pleasure in it. Confronted with the reality of the place we would call home, his conscience demanded that he take action. He began cooperating with the resistance, but the eyes of the Fermentarium are all seeing, and before long he was ousted as a sympathizer. It is only by the grace of good fortune that we escaped with our lives. So, I often laid awake at night, wondering if he had outlived his usefulness to the resistance, or perhaps it was a petty senior officer that orchestrated our fall. Regardless of the cause, the outcome was the same. We could never return to the Empire. We fled to Aurora by way of Razahan, the only route open to us. Wasn't soon after stepping foot on the docks of Leminson that your luck ran out. All stopped by yellowjackets and accused of being Imperial spies. But we still managed to make an escape. We ran and terrified that our pursuers would one day catch up to us. That is until we met you. Had you not taken us under your wing, when you did, I shudder to imagine our fate. Your gratitude's the last thing I deserve, lass. If I hadn't sent Argus off on that damned fool errand, he'd still be alive. It was Arcus that killed him, and no mistake, he died for my vengeance. I can't tell you how sorry I am. No, you needn't apologize. I know he was happy. So long as he was helping you, he was happy. The blame for his death doesn't rest on your shoulders. It rests on the man, the monster that murdered him in cold blood. And I expect you to see he answers for this crime. For me and for Argus. We're actually getting a glimpse now of the other side of the Empire. In a way, the Imperials. Lass, I will. On this I swear everything that I have to swear. We need to talk, Ronald. Somewhere where pure praying eyes come meet me at the bridge to the moon. I owe you an apology, Ronald, for not telling you everything about me and Arcus from the start. I dragged you into a fight against a foe that's cunning, brutal, and utterly merciless. I thought, with all of us together, we could tip the scales in our favor. But I was wrong, and Argus paid the price for my hubris. That voice scent we tracked in the Black Shroud was likely one of Arthur's minions, but I was too caught up in my grand scheme to realize it at the time. I should have thought about why it tried to hide that body. Your common voice sense wouldn't have the gall to bury a kill. But what if Argus taught it that as a way to throw trackers off its scent and to dangle bait for me and mine? Argus has used that same trick in the past, and he knows that we know it too. But dispatching his minion? We drew his attention. Argus was a warning. Argus doesn't give his prey swift deaths. He toys with them, cuts into them, and savors the screams. That's how I knew he was responsible. It's like a signature, the way he leaves the bodies when he had his fill. I only pray didn't take that suffering with him to the next life. Argus will be coming for you or me next. Not right away, though. That'd be giving up the game. He wants us to keep looking over our shoulder, sleeping with one eye open. He'll wear us down without even lifting a finger. And when he finally strikes, we'll be dead on our feet. Playthings for him to do as he pleases. That won't do. We need to bring the fight to him. No more waiting around for a lead to come to us. It won't be easy, but can I still count on you, on your help? Thank you, Ron. And if you've got no qualms risking right for limb to fight for Argus, to fight for me, then I've no qualms calling you a member of my family. Family. Curious word, that. I know. It's him, Ronald. Some persistent rats were nibbling at my tail. I should have known by their stench that it was you and yours, Drusilla. What should I call you? Granddaughter. Your mouth, you damn demon monster. Monster. Is that any way to greet up a loved elder? Children these days. It seems one death wasn't punishment enough for you. A second should suffice. Skank reminder of your being. Oh, we're ending this here and now. Follow my lead. I thought we might savor our reunion for a while longer, but if you insist, I shall feast upon your beating heart here and now. What dregs left in this vessel of yours? Desecrated vessel of yours. Too long has the hide been left in the sun. But your family has been replenished with fresh blood, I see. Wait, if the void said... Oh. And what a bounteous soul this one has. Sight may be dull, but your eyes is as sharp as ever. Blinding as the sun, pure as the snow. Delectable as a boar. Oh god, you know, he's like... Oh god, this guy, she's like... The void son is acting like Fan Daniel This is for. I had thought to make a quick meal of you, but perhaps just this once, forbearance is in order. Such a singular specimen must be given time to fat to fulfill its human potential. To be a travesty to consume you ere you achieve perfection. When your soul is ripe with fears, swollen with hatred, and fit to burst with despair, I shall return to you, Ronald, and I shall gorge. Until that time, suffer well, my growing well. I think they took the model for Fan Daniel and made it hers. Or his. Curse these old bones. He was right in front of me. I could have ended it in one swing. For a moment, just one moment, I saw it all again. My family, slaughtered, laying at his feet. My life slipping away, and that was enough. Doubtless you have more than a few questions. I'll answer them, I promise. But now's not the time, trust me. Standing around, kicking the sands will change what's done. Let's return to headquarters and let the wind cool our heads, and then we can consider our next course of action. Oh, if it is your mom, you headed in? Yes, I have to head in, sir. It was my own fault. It was my own fault that if I hadn't stood there slack-jawed, if I wasn't so damn slow, we'd be rid of that abomination once and for all. What you saw used to be my grandfather before Arcus took over. He looks green enough to be my own grandchild now. Trick of the void, like as not. It's no secret that if a void scent doesn't want to devour you, it probably wants to take possession of your flesh, but Arcus had a particular talent for it. And as you doubtless surmised, he's got an insatiable craving for ether. Killing is only a prelude to the act of gulping down our essence. Like a drought of ale after a day's work. He's old. I can't exactly say how old. And he's acquired a taste for the finer things. Seems your soul counts among the finest he's ever seen. Things just keep getting better. Just keep getting better for us, don't they? It's not the first time somebody set sight on my soul. Is that so? Used to being a prize pig, are we? Any road, it's clear that safety is no longer something we can take for granted. Not even in a crowded street. Not even in the middle of the day. Keep your eyes peeled and watch out for those terrible red eyes. We're sitting chocobos for the moment. But I'll think of something and send for you as soon as I can. Until then, never sleep far from your sight. Thicker than blood. Glad to see Arcus hasn't sank his teeth into you yet, Ronald. I'm good thinking he's given up on trying now. He's out there, savoring you from a distance. Can't resist checking in on his prize. Just as he can't resist seeking out morsels to tie him over until his feast. The reports we received of a male pale as death skulking about the sands is proof of that. And then there's the matter of this blunted dagger. We don't know who sent it, but we do know what it means. It's a warning. It's a warning commonly used by a less savory elements in Oda. A warning that the next will be delivered sharp and straight to our bellies. More fool than. They've no notation of what we faced and lived, thinking we'd soar our small cloths over empty threats. Let's hope it's nothing more than that, lads. Seeing as we need to follow up on those reports sooner than later. Anyone fancy a bit of fresh air? If we could catch a whiff of Walker's foul stench, all the better. Ronald, I want you to ask around near Blackbrush Station. And I'll head to Stonethrow. When you're done, meet me there, and we'll share what we've dug up. Perfect tells me they're about to go out to Argonus's wife. Maybe I'm pretty sure some people probably heard that conversation about where they came from. So it's like, I recognize that self-same stride, the mark of a man ready to take on the world and then some. It must be the Aurorsian Reaper the boss sent word about. I'm almost disappointed to tell you nothing is amiss. The soldier in me would have loved to see a Reaper in action. I once fought in the Imperial Army. Though you wouldn't think of it, to look at me now. I served proudly under Lord Valens in my youth until the day he ordered us to use common folk as fodder in some pointless skirmish. I refused and was sentenced to death for my candor. Needless to say, I didn't keep that appointment. Oh, I've heard that name before. Oh, Mr. Burnout the Bad. That's who that is. That's who he's talking about. Yeah. Yeah. That guy. I refused. Yeah. Compared to that evil, toothless threats and ghosts are no better, but the less jaded are more excitable. One lass in particular has been jumping at shadows. She claims to have seen all matters of terrors, but I suspect she'd be startled by her own reflection. Still, if you want to lend an ear to her delusions, you can find her at Lost Hope. Somebody. The Crimson. Oh, that's the Red Mage quest line. Ugh, I'm still being hounded by my LC leader to actually complete fully level Red Mage. Oh, gotta do it sometime. Hopefully, one day. Hello, who are you? Oh, did Dolores receive my missive? She sent someone to rid us of this terrible, weird, evil waiting in the wings. Truly, she cares for us as if we were really her flesh and blood, which is more than I can say about my own. Not once have I longed to return to the life of comfort I left behind in Golemon. I have Drusilla to thank for that. She isn't the reason I left home in the first place, of course. Had I not met my beloved, I would like still be feasting on lemon cakes in arrogance. In arrogance of love, in ignorance and love of freedom. I found the former in Golemald, and the latter in Eorzea. So our new life blossomed into something beautiful. Not every day has been easy. Not even most days, but Ursula's watchful eye has kept us safe. Our freedom is worth any measure of hardship. Such terrible fear gripped my heart when my beloved told me of a pale man he spied in the sands. But now that the family has come to help, I can sigh relief. I'm sure you wish to know precisely where to find that horrid creature. But I cannot help half so well as my beloved might. Seek him in the southeast. Pray put an end to this nightmare. Left there. Lord Devil missed the humble doth now tread. Tracking the scent of quarry others dread. In darkest night cry for a keeper. Lo, by your side he walks the reaper. Oh, apologies for the effusive display, friend. I'm a poet, you see, and cannot resist putting into words the flood of emotion that accompanies such a striking figure as you. Oh, hi. What the? Monster. What? Blood emanating from this window is potent and powerful. Where did this thing come from? Sitting here having a conversation with someone, and you gotta show up and be all like, I'm better than everybody. It's like, get up out of here. So anyway, what were you saying? Thank you, my savior, my godsend. Would that I could have aided you, but alas, a poet's pen is of lower use in battle. Unless, of course, that battle involves not swords and safe, but words. Just ask the sire of my beloved, who is even now looking the wounds dealt by the insensitive verses I composed after he had the gall to forbid our union. A masterwork escape of metaphors is... Okay. Nobles are anything but subtle in their rage. We were forced to flee, to abandon our homes with only our lives for substance. Nevertheless, I regretted not a single moment of our life in exile. In Eorzea, we found an unexpected treasure. Freedom. Freedom of mind and freedom of heart. Ah, but I digress. Surely you did not seek me out simply to save my life and leave me with a nod in his smile. Do you wish to commission a poem? No, I am here to talk. The Pale Man? I encountered him whilst wandering these wastes in search of inspiration. I felt the gaze of some terrible presence upon my back, and when I turned to meet it, he was standing there, grinning like a butcher in a bullpen. He wore robes much too thick for these scorched sands, and his skin looked as if he had never been kissed by the blazing sun. Worst of all, his eyes were as two bottomless pools of blood. I feared my life had ended. I feared my end had come, but then he vanished as quickly as he appeared. Perhaps I've been reckless. Recent incidences made it clear that the cost of inspiration is higher than I'm willing to pay. I shall return to my beloved for both my safety and hers. Thank you. So he's calling. He's toying with us. He's pulled us all the way out here to let him know that we are. He has control. This is his. Yeah, this is his way of trying to keep control of us by making us go to these areas where he appears and disappears. There you are, and another one of his cursed minions. Well, I suppose we could take comfort in the fact that none of the family came to harm, and yourself included. Well done. Get a witch? What do you think of this family you've been thrust into? Speak freely. I haven't lived this long. By taking offense at opinions I don't want to hear. Doesn't matter what I think. If you say so, I reckon you don't hate us. That's good enough for me. And that's good enough for me. End of the day, we're just a ragtag band of guys unfit to live under the Empire's boot. Yours truly included. Much as some enlightened types might tell you otherwise, people like to have a say in the life they lead. That's what separates us from those bugs over there. But the bugs are just doing things. They just do things. Look at them go. Born queens, workers, drones, bred into roles ingrained so deeply they wouldn't know how to live otherwise for the glory and prosperity of the hive. Yeah, but they have a system. But we got it in us to be different. Might be born into farming, soldiering, or politicking. But we could choose to walk a different path whenever the fancy should strike. Yeah. Ain't in our nature to accept our lot without question. Now we have to believe in something. Put our faith in it. Only then will we deem to march in step. And indeed, faith of a savage, stripe, is one way to get us dancing to the same tune. Others might be compelled through faith in logic or law, intangible, invisible, yet cause enough for killing and conquering if it suits the queen. The invaders have sullied our birthright for 8 centuries. No longer. We marched for Amaros. With a few righteous words, his radiance, solace gallows, whipped the hive into a frenzy. Yep, that was the idea. Once that fire is burning, the passion of the masses can't soon be quelled. What was once a wish for home became a holy mission to spread enlightenment which would not suffer such beliefs as the beastmen held. Countless scores rendered up their lives on the altar of empire until an entire continent was unified under a single magic tech fist. For those who still dreamed the dream of unity, a deed worthy of song, yet some awoke to see it for the tyranny it was, my grandfather, Rullius, included. The talents of the Reapers are passed down through bloodlines. Rullius was the best of us. the most accomplished and feared in the Order's long history. The duty of the Reapers, our role in the Hive, if you will, was to deliver our countrymen from corrupt and power-hungry tyrants. When Gullimal found religion conquest, its appetite grew to be insatiable. My grandfather pondered this conundrum for many sleepless nights and came to a decision. He would relieve Solus Galvus of his life. Oh, wow. Imagine if he would have did it. The fact that he would have been able to destroy... No. 20 years ago, he slipped into the deepest chambers of the Imperial Palace, finally out of shallow until he could hear the Emperor's beating heart. Yet when Rolius returned him, Solus was alive and well. My grandfather had his skittishness to his step, and his black hair had turned a pale white. He said not of his empire, but the empire, save that the most powerful man in Gullimal was no man at all. Shamed in his defeat, my grandfather sought greater power. Bit by bit, he gave more of himself to the void set behind his avatar. Once, Arcturus struck when Aurelius was weakest, taking his flesh and soul in one fell swoop. When he was finished, not a mote of my grandfather remained in that body. There was only Arcturus. The fiend flew into a rapturous frenzy, and my family were the first victims. I remember the chill of his teeth sinking into my flesh, gnawing until they reached my very essence. How am I standing here before you then? Oh, Arcus gorged on a soul that night. But it wasn't mine, not exactly. It was my avatar that filled his belly. Seems that was all he could stomach. Some might consider that a lucky twist of fate, but I had little time to ponder my fortune. Fled soon as I was able, his radiance never looked kindly on those trying to end his life or their families. I wandered about for years until I settled here and started seeking out others like me. Others who had awoken from the Empire's dream. Immortus is what we call the spirits of the dead in the Garlean tongue. A fitting moniker, if there ever was one. Waking up from a long sleep ain't unlike climbing out of a grave. I can attest to that. Son of a bleeding. Remind me not to give such long-winded speeches when the sand is blowing in my face. I'm heading back for some ale. See you at headquarters. Well, come out, boss. How was the family? Shaken but unharmed aside from some tousled hair and mangled versa. Arcturus left one of his minions behind as a gift, but Ronald made quick work of it. I always said he was a keeper. You have an eye for the fierce of heart. I wager we could slay Orcus all on his own. Not that we let him take all the glory. Of course, you wouldn't. We'll all be there when Orcus tries to take his prize. I don't think we'll be waiting long either. Said he'd strike when Ronald was ripe with fear and hatred and despair. Seasonings he loathes to forego. I have an inkling how he might try to draw out those emotions. Show off a half-eaten meal. But you are, Drusilla. How many nights did you mourn your lost avatar? The wellspring of your power. I must say, it was quite the dish. I think not. Move so much as a finger in her head will hit the floor. Well, that fire, I want to see it burn. I want to see her rage. See that hatred seeped into the depths of her soul. This Drusilla's final breath, or this one? It's so very hard to choose. Don't give in. I was right not to give in to my baser instincts, to allow the thought of your taste to simmer in my mind. So I formed a bond, a kinship even, born from an understanding of her inconsequential ideas that you may better appreciate the bitter loss. Perhaps I should wait a little longer to let the flavor of your hatred mature and the tang of your malice ripen. I can make use of Drusilla yet. Revel in our screens, drawn in our misery. Ah, how splendid it will be. All the while, my prized piglet, growing fat with loathsome, loathing and succulent with terror. Patience rewards the dutiful gourmand. After all, when your tantalizing flavor has fully matured, I shall return. I shall reap my harvest. Jeez, you're not the first one to do something like this. Damn void that bastard stole this piece of shit. We need to. We need to think, Carmen. I know. Now's not the time to lose my temper. Perhaps cool heads. Right. We need a plan. First things first. Find out where Oculus is hiding. Family should be able to help with that. In the meantime, you need to prepare. I know you're good, Ronald, but we can't leave the boss's life to chance. Sharpen your skills and your sight, then sharpen them once more. The boss can do not against Orcus without her avatar. That means you'll have to do the heavy lifting. Of course, I'll do what I can to afford you an advantage. You can count on that. For Fortress. Oh, looks like it's here. Yep. See, that's the only way you can get in Shroud and be to go into the avatars. Avatar state pretty much. Which is it's actually called in Shroud state. When I get my hands on him... Oh, Ronald, listen. We found out where the boss is being held, but I'm warning you, the how of it isn't pretty. An envelope arrived at headquarters this morning. I opened it. Inside was a letter written in blood. There's no doubting whose it was. Orca is reveling in his own cruelty. The letter said he's waiting for us at the dusk vigil. Gods know what he's doing to her now. I've called on every able-bodied member of the family for this one. We're heading out as soon as everyone's assembled. We're here, Herman. And more are waiting outside. We're ready to repay the debt we owe Ursula and our lives if we must. With souls courageous, hearts of hardened steel, for leaders' sake, for family's ideal, into the demon's lair they soon shall tread, to end his terror foul, reign of dread. Into the demon's lair. Sorry, I'm distracted by some things. The boss would beam with pride to see this group of cold-blooded killers. Alright, Ronald. We're ready when you say the word. Face Orcus. You won't. This is a job or a Reaper. A Reaper alone. But now, we might hold a candle to the likes of you, but we've got skills. You'll need someone to distract Orcus, right? That you can move in for the kill. Back his turn. Don't tell us to stay here with our thumbs up over our ass while the boss is suffering. She wouldn't want to do and throwing your lives away. What do you know about what she wants? Listen. Aaron, listen. Maybe he's right. I know he's right then. Doesn't mean it ain't shall. The boss wouldn't trust just any man with the Reaper's arts, and Ronald has proven himself worth time and again. If you're going along, take that with you. Ooh. For the boss. No self-respecting Reaper can reap without their scythe. I'll just shrink this down and put it in my own bag. Now go and make Arcus rule the day he crossed into this world. That was the Imperial salute. that wasn't just any salute. That was the Imperial one, the Empire salute. Yeah, I. Destination. Here you are, Ronald. My prize repast. Come forward. Oh. Guess he's got the transceiver. What is that running in it? Why is my scythe literally rocking and smacking it through my head? Wait, that's her scythe. We're carrying. Okay. That's awkward. I can smell it. Your fear. Your hatred. Your tender marbled soul. My masterpiece ripe for the slaughter. I'll savor every bite. Strip the flesh from your bones. Crack them open. You won't even let me finish the conversation. Fine then. And enraptured by the thought of your sweet essence. Never have I suffered so in waiting, but in beholding your magnificence I shall see it worth every agony pang. I do not expect you to leap into my maw will, nor do I desire it. I want you to writhe and struggle upon your dying breath. This is where you fight the griffin. I think it was a griffin here. There's a dungeon that you run through and like, yeah, I can tell by the statue. What's wrong? You can't fight one-on-one with me? Huh? Very good. Defiance becomes you. Though it begins to boil. A noise, rather. 'Tis past time you bared your belly for my belly. Ray's sole purpose is to sell. My word, your aim is terrible. What? How? There should be nothing left of you. Should have learned to chew your food more thoroughly. Oh, come on, don't play this song. Fools, the both of you. I won't die so easily. Ah. He's got a point. Very well. Meat is all more delicious when it's tenderized. Nah, we can do this together. Yeah. God. 24%. What an interesting mechanic. Uh-oh. I'm bleeding. Oh, look, it's We did it! We won! No. The honor is yours. Thank you. Uh-oh. Fear, boiled in hatred. I can smell its exquisite aroma. What are you talking about? I can't fear you if I've defeated you. What makes you think I was really scared of you? Taste? It's done. Let's go back to headquarters. Boss. Ronald. Sorry for causing you all no end of worry. When tracking me down, you risked life and limb. And for that, I thank you, all of you. We didn't risk anything. We just sat here praying until you and Ronald walked through the door. Don't be so hard on yourself, lass. I know each and every one of you would have joined him if he hadn't talked some sense into you. We owe you our lives, boss. We owed it to you we owed it to you to return the favor. You're more than I deserve. Who forces them? They hold deal into a personal vendetta to lead families to their death. Argus was no fool. He knew and accepted the risk. He placed his faith in you because he believed Argus had to be stopped, and he was right. There'll be no more victims to mourn. He helped you to achieve that victory. It'd be enough for him, and it'll be enough for me. You're right. This ain't the time for sulking. Argus would be the first to tell me that. Now's the time to honor his sacrifice, to toast those we have lost and those still by our side. And to thank the brave souls that led us here. That means you, Ronald. Much as I'd like to take credit for Arcus' demise. It was a long, bloody road, but this marks the end of your first assignment as a Reaper. And what an assignment it was, eh? You might not be Garlean, but you tackled your task with a singular resolve that impressed the most hardened soldier. I'm proud to call you family. We may have founded the Luminaries to provide a home for wayward Garleans, but we're not so different, Garleans and Orosians. No great revelation. But moments like these help to put it all in perspective. This family was a dream that gave us the strength to survive in a strange land. But the beautiful thing about dreams, if you ask me, is that they can change. They can get better. So I say that from this day forward, the Lemoniers will be united not by origin but by purpose. Brothers and sisters bound by shared convictions. I don't think anyone will object to that, boss. The Lemoniers are ready to welcome people of all stripes. Parting with you, Ronald, though it was all but official already, eh? Here's to the birth of a new family, brother. What a day it's been, huh? Hope it'll be a while yet before I've occasion to yammer on that much again. Too much talking to put me in a sentimental mood. Or worse, make me dewy-eyed. So let's leave it at that, eh? You ever get weary from the weight of the world on your shoulders? Know that our doors will always be open. And if you need an ear to bend, a shoulder to weep on, or a stiff bottle to jump inside, I'll be right here, brother. It's so weird that he called that. Your avatar sucks with the souls of fallen foes. Oh, okay, I guess I'm not reading that part. The depth gauge. The soul shroud and once you trial the depth gauge. Okay, so now I have access to it. The thing is, the only reason we did this job, I mean, I might take it. I might slowly work on it in the future. I kind of want to see where that goes, but yeah, we did it though. Pretty. I just wanted to. I was hoping there would be more to it all. Places see you walk through these doors. I don't know. It's not a very homely in here, but feel free to kick. How fair the we're doing what expected. Some shoes. that are proving hard to fill, and we found ourselves skill on hand than we accustomed for. Happened in Guillemot. Just because the Empire is gone, it doesn't mean that everyone who's fled its clutches has a burning desire to return home. I think the Lalafell will be an old doll for some time yet. Oh, so she knows what happened at the Empire. Let me read that part. I've heard what happened in Guillemot. Yeah. A lot to take in. About people who spent their days farming, but they're driven by invaders, where they turn their tools to weapons. But ain't our sides to speak and hush wizards our avatars. Though through them do we receive a small measure of a voice sense fathomless inner power, giving us the ability that make even the most learned mages green with envy. Of course, not everyone is able to bind themselves to the void, even if they're willing. It takes a certain kind of person, a certain kind of soul to resonate so deeply with a void sense. Rise into darkness as well as it flourishes in the light. That's what I'm referring to when I said you had the killer instinct. It's a rare sort of connection to the 13th. She knows about the 13th. Sort of connection to the 13th, much to Herman's displeasures. For days she sat in front of one of those crystals and heard not so much as a murmur from the other side. She was crestfallen, as you can imagine. Those Garleans who are fortunate, although some might argue on that point, enough to be courted by the void, are given gifts that nature has denied them. They're able to drink their fill of the world's ether, and much more besides. For centuries, my forebears were tied to the void, and used the strength it gave us. When invaders would threaten our borders, we'd be the ones to cut down their leaders. Under the cover of the night, we would strike, just another shadow cast by the embers of dying campfires. When the sun rose, only the dead would serve as trace of our presence. Our enemies feared us, though we knew not what we were. They knew not what we were until the reign of Emperor Solus, that is. Now, when people think of the Empire, they think of Magitech, the inexorable wave of hulking metal which you can withstand. This chair. Not this chair. This chair. Okay. Oh, that chair. That's a nice chair. Okay. Should I want this chair? I need that chair in my life. Anyway, that's it for now. Yeah, we're done. We're done the story. Oh. I don't think I have that chair. No, I don't have that chair. They gave me a tiny chair. One of the nicest. I need to upgrade some things in this house. I was holding off to doing that because I thought I could get a medium, or I could just use what you call it. Get a medium house or use Island Sanctuary, but Island Sanctuary is gonna have all that. At least not now. They might do it in the future, but yeah, that's it for now. I did whatever I had to do. At least for this. I still got a couple of stories I want to do before it's all over, but I'm taking a break. I'm gonna take a break and then come over later before the patch, which is in pretty much 12 hours now. See everyone later.